Okay, continuing with our rib contacts. Now we're in the prone position and we're going to make a hypothenar costal contact, and it'll be a push move. Now I can do that one of two ways. I can use a unilateral contact where I'm stabilizing, wrapping my wrist, or I can make a bilateral contact where I'm out just medial to the angle of the rib with my inferior hand, and my superior hand will be reaching across with a broad contact to stabilize the opposite side ribs at about the same level that I've got my contact hand. I will need to be in a square stance for the bilateral contact. For the unilateral contact, I can be in a fencer stance to take care of this one. Now, I need to raise the table up just a little bit, so we're going to do that. I've already set the table to where I need it for the patient's height. I'm going to start with my unilateral contact, fencer stance. I'm going to use my inferior hand as a contact hand for the T7 to T12 ribs. So I'll find where I want to make my contact, take my tissue pull P to A, I to S, and medial to lateral, and then I'm going to wrap the wrist. Inferior hand contacts T7 to T12. And then of course it's going to be P to A, I to S for my thrust, line of drive. Now, if I'm going to do T1 to T6, I'm going to use my superior hand for that, and I'm still going to be in a fencer stance, but I'm going to be facing the patient's feet. Now this might be a little bit more difficult to see, so I'm going to come around to the opposite side here, and that way I can do this. Fencer stance, superior hand contact. Find where I need to take the rib contact. Tissue pull is going to be S to I on this one. Contact, stabilize around the wrist, and my thrust is going to be P to A, S to I on these. Okay? All right, now that is the unilateral contact. I also mentioned that you could have a bilateral contact, and for that one, you're going to stand square to the patient to be able to make these contacts effectively. And again, the rule for which segment determines which hand you're using for contact. T7 to T12, my inferior hand, slide up onto that angle of the rib, reach across, stabilize the opposite side ribs, and again, my thrust is P to A, I to S here, okay? If I want to adjust the upper ribs, I'm going to be contacting with my superior hand here, stabilizing with my inferior hand, and my thrust is going to be P to A, S to I, okay? And those are my two prone hypothenar costal contacts.